It was one of those kind of days.
It was, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, world.
Yo.
And we're live. It's our live stream. How's it going?
It
I'm
goes
Aaron.
right.
That's Garrett. And we were supposed to be joined by Michael Oden tonight, but unfortunately, he's going to have to reschedule. So we're just going to go through his campaign, The Embrace, which is still got 5 days left on Indiegogo without him, and talk about it behind his back.
To his face.
All good
To his
things.
face.
He watches.
Because he's going to watch this later.
This is to your face.
Behind your back.
Behind your back, to your face.
In a different state. All right. You were saying, what happened to you this morning?
This morning,
Yeah.
I went to court for a traffic ticket from back in 2019.
Do you want to add the campaign page?
Yeah. So that's how my day went. I got up real early, went to court for a ticket from 2 years ago.
Which had been on postponement because of COVID.
Because of COVID and pandemic.
Right.
And the court still did not have their stuff together.
And you spent the entire day there. Wasn't it in Massachusetts?
No. It was just a couple towns over.
Okay.
Just Rockville.
Because when you told me the story, it was like a mass traffic stop.
Oh, no.
I mean,
mass
traffic stop. I was like,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
So get this. I get pulled over by a cop who's just watching traffic, and he points at me and tells me to go over. Now, I was adjusting my seatbelt, and I think he thought I was putting it on. So he's like, you're getting the ticket. And he points me and directs me into a parking lot that these cops have set up. And there's just like a dozen cops hanging out. And so they
ticketing all of these other people.
Oh, yeah. No, and the guy who picked me out of traffic didn't write the ticket.
Right. He just sent him over.
He just sends me over there to get processed by their line of dudes. And so the guy just comes up and he's already apologizing to me. The cops apologize, saying, hey, I'm sorry we're doing this. The state's got this thing where we need to meet a certain number. Just fight it and
go to court.
So I'm like losing my mind because like I'm getting a ticket for no reason.
From someone who didn't pull you over.
And now I'm finally getting to address this 2 years later.
Except you're not.
So when I get there, like a dozen different cases had their dockets lost. So the prosecutor didn't have half of the people who were there. So he's like, hey, I know you're supposed to be here today. I have nothing to look at. So go check with the clerk to see if they can find something.
And then the clerk couldn't find
So then I go have to mess with the clerk's office. The clerk couldn't find anything. So they're like, yeah, just go home. You're fine. You have to call the Central Central Infractions Bureau so that you can find the what's going on with this docket yourself. So 2 years in the making, they still don't have my stuff, and it's still my responsibility to go clear up a ticket that I
I just keep thinking that if you don't have a file, then they don't have the ticket on file with that file because it doesn't exist.
Yep.
If they can't find it, how are they going to hold you to having to pay the fine? There's no record of the fine.
So I unfortunately, I think this is a case of bureaucracy being all about different departments. Yeah. So even the department that's supposed to clear me doesn't have the file. The department that would arrest me might have the file. So
we don't want to have a bench warrant out for you.
I know,
It's
right?
like the last thing we need right now.
I don't need another bench warrant.
Right? So this is The Embrace. Frequency Girl, do you want to tell us a little bit about this campaign?
Sure. This is The Embrace. It has 6 days left in the campaign, 111 backers. It's made $5,817 so far, which is pretty awesome. Reached 193% of its funding goal. It is written and created by Michael Oden, and
who was supposed to be on the show, but he's been waylaid, so we'll reschedule.
Yeah. It's been that kind of week.
Yeah, honestly, I get it. Personal life happens.
Well, first, chemo cancels on us because Australia washes away in a rainstorm.
So my whole theory on this is that originally we were only going to do 2 streams a week.
Oh, is this karma? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is me subtly being like, Aaron, schedule with less people, because we tried to do 4 streams this week and it didn't work out for anybody. So,
well, we did one that was recorded, and that one is up, and that's
we did one with the.
That's
with
true.
The
it worked out for 2 great streams.
Yeah.
That's true. Astounding Tales and Shotgun Samurai were awesome.
They were.
Great guests.
Fantastic.
And I really want to see our other 2 guest stuff. And
don't worry, Mr. Oden said he'd reschedule. He'll be on, and Kimo still got a couple days left. So,
and if you haven't watched our interview with Astounding Tales or Shotgun Samurai, you should go check them out because they are up on the YouTube page.
All right, so let's go through the
Shotgun Samurai.
Let's go through the campaign.
That was a missed opportunity.
Show us the why.
Wow, it should be Slamurai. No, I'm kidding.
I don't.
This just sounds like a wrestler. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm punchy tonight, man.
I mean, you just don't have any sleep or something?
No, I slept great.
Okay. Let's look at the tiers. Starting at the first one. Just hit the home button.
Let's go all the way back up. My home button isn't working for some reason.
You
Which is
can't
totally
go home.
on point for this week. It's just kind of how it's
Go
So he's got
frequency,
3
girl, go
covers. It
home.
looks like he's got a regular cover, a variant cover, and the super awesome Barton cover.
which is like the special edition. And then there's the black and white, like inspired by the Crow.
Yeah,
version.
which is the one that we got because
right. So you
we
can
wanted to be
only
super
get that if you do the one of each tier.
Right. So the one of each is all 3 covers, obviously, and it comes with whatever stretch goals they unlock, which we'll talk about in a second. Of course, it also comes with the digital edition, I believe. Is there the digital edition? There is, isn't there?
Not sure.
You didn't do a digital edition?
I don't think so.
Holy
The
crap.
one of each has the 3 that you can get, and then there's the special black and white, like inspired by the Crow.
All right, so click on this tier.
Honestly, I'm
Click on-
okay
I
with
wanna
that.
see it. I wanna
I'm
see
okay
this.
with not doing a digital edition.
I'm not.
Mm.
Oh no, it does have. the
Haha.
digital file.
See, there's no reason not to. So here's the reason to do a digital file.
Sure.
Okay. There are people who live all over the world who want our book, who don't want to have to pay $25 international shipping rates.
Yep.
And if our book is going to be $20 to $25, they're paying almost as much in shipping to get the book as they are for the book itself. And $20 to $25 for one book isn't necessarily cheap.
Mhm.
So I understand the digital tier. I'm not a fan of it myself. I would probably never back it. I much prefer physical copies. So if I'm going to buy something, I want to get my hands on it. That's definitely what I would do. But I don't want to restrict anyone else's
Exclude
ability.
people.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. That's a good argument for it.
So 29 people picked up, we were one of those 29, obviously. 29 people picked up this one of each tier, which is probably the best value on this campaign.
Yeah.
Anyway, scrolling down, we've got the 3 individual covers, right? The first one, the standard cover for 20, the special variant cover, the O'Reilly variant for 20, the Barton, right? The special Barton Brothers edition for 25, because the Barton Brothers are just a little bit more expensive. You got to treat them real nice.
Well, this book is also a little bit different than the others. It has a cardstock cover, and it also has extra art, I believe, in the back. So there are more pages.
So
in
it's
this special
actually
edition.
a different book.
It's actually a special edition.
Neat. Is that why it
there's
says special edition?
Yeah,
on
it's
it?
not just that it's the Barton Brothers, which I mean they are special and
Right.
very cool, but there's more to it than that.
Then there's the Nine Realms catalog, which is, I believe, Mike's publishing imprint. I know we backed that too because I didn't know what it was and I wanted to find it. Oh, it's Elysian Fields 0 and the Pyramid Gambit. So for those of you who don't know, Mike Oden is not new to the indie publishing game or to crowdfunding. He did Elysian Fields 0 and Elysian Fields, the Pyramid Game, both of which we have.
Gambit.
Yeah, Pyramid Game.
The
Gambit?
Pyramid
Is it
Scheme.
Yeah, Pyramid Gambit. The Pyramid Scheme. Come on. Which we have coming
Works for Amway.
from those campaigns, but apparently we also got them through the Nine Realms catalog too. So we're gonna have doubles, which is cool. I like that. The Elysian Fields campaigns were great, wildly successful, and so this is the 3rd project it looks like that he's delivered on Indiegogo, and he did really successfully on this one as well. So then we've got the Team from the Land Down Under, which is a very limited tier. 0 of 10 have been claimed, so you can still get this. There's still 5 days to pick it up. Tell me what it's about.
So if you purchase this one, you get one of all of the
regular covers plus
like
the special edition Barton.
Right. And it'll be signed by Dean,
The
Clayton,
artist,
Corey,
yep.
and Michael.
Right.
So
the artist, writer, and the variant artists will all sign the books, which is neat.
Yep.
That's nice. It also comes with
the digital file, the
Yeah.
standard book,
Yep.
the Barton Brothers cover,
Yep,
and the
okay.
O'Reilly variant.
Then we've got
They're
original art
signed.
pages, signed interior print and book.
Yep.
So we have a regular page, right?
Yep. An interior page from the
Yep.
book. 11 by
And
17, and it's signed by Dean James.
who did the art on this book? The art looks really good.
Art's
Yeah, it
fantastic.
does. Yep.
I really wish that that Oden could have made it so that we could have asked him questions, because common saying that I've heard to promote this book from such notable promoters within the community is that it's a suit made of ghosts, and it's probably the best tagline that I have heard for a book to sell.
Can
a book.
I be perfectly honest?
I love this tagline.
So you've been talking about this tagline for a while.
It's weeks, yeah.
And you've been giggling about it every time where you're like,
It's
oh,
a suit made of
it's
ghosts.
a suit made of ghosts. I've misheard you every time, and I
What?
didn't even connect it until like earlier today when you said it. I kept on thinking you were saying it's like a soup made of ghosts. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, but I'm not gonna say anything because he likes it, so whatever.
You just broke everything. Okay, so we weren't on camera for that. Aaron laughed so hard he rocked back in his chair,
and
hitting
bumped,
the
and bumped
bookcase
my
on the
nerd
nerd
altar.
altar, and Baby Groot is
Oh,
now
no.
taking a long nap.
Baby Groot. Buddy,
Oh,
I'm so
no.
sorry.
This is my fault.
You and Sailor Moon both.
Oh no! Hey, what are they doing?
I don't know. They're rolling around
That's
on the
just
floor.
all sorts of wrong.
So go to the next tier while I fix our.
Baby Groot just became the adolescent Groot.
Daddy
Baby Groot just became a man.
Okay. So for 150, there's the signed cover print and book.
No,
So
I like
you
that
get
print, that cover print.
the signed digital print of the main cover of the Embrace and your copy of the book.
The main cover, in case y'all didn't, catch it, is the red one
That's the red one.
Yeah. up at the top.
It's very cool. I like that. I mean, all of them are really great.
And then there's the Dean James title, right?
Right.
Title print.
So you get the pencils and a copy of the special edition. With the Barton Brothers thumbnail is a rough. The final version will be seen for the first time by the purchaser. So this is it pictured here is not what you're getting.
Right.
Oops. You'll get the actual finished piece or finished pencils.
And then there's the original Barton Brothers work.
The signed Barton print.
Yeah.
Right. So you get the digital print signed to serve as a collector's piece.
If
and
you
book with your choice of cover.
if you signed up for the pre-launch, you get this awesome poster.
Yes.
Which we signed up for the pre-launch, so
Yeah.
we're cool.
It's very cool. You know what? I'm actually gonna
See, it's a suit made of
switch.
ghosts, dude.
I'm gonna switch.
Like,
Yeah, I
that's
get
the
it now.
dad and his son, and just like I love the look of this. It's a really neat design.
I
and
mean, you
concept.
agree with me. Soup made of
A
ghosts
soup-
makes no sense, right?
Oh, I don't know if it makes no sense. It definitely is different. When you said soup made of ghosts, I started thinking of all of the different ways you could make a soup with ghosts, or what a soup made of ghosts would be
Mhm.
like.
Yeah, I'm super happy that they made this into a pinup because it's just gorgeous, and I think it's my favorite of all of them. So I'm glad we also have all the covers.
Hey Garrett, what do you call a soup made of ghosts?
Oh no.
Oh no! What do you call it?
A bouillabaisse.
Oh jeez.
Boo!
A bouillabaisse.
Ooh, your face.
Oh,
yeah,
that was
see what
bad.
I have. That's I appreciate it though because it was a good pun. I'm a fan of puns.
I'm not.
I know, but you made it, so
That was a good one, man.
Then go all the way to the bottom because I want to show off the boob art, the boob Dan art.
Yee, give everyone vertigo. Oh, I
Boo.
like this.
Oh yeah,
England
this
clam
is
chowder.
definitely something we should mention. So he's got this really neat tier. It's not actually a tier. It's a really neat perk, I guess is what you could call it. I don't know. It's a crossover. If you back both the Embrace and Perfect 10 which is also in funding right now, and they're doing pretty well. You can get this really cool crossover poster, which I think that's just a great idea. It would be really cool if it was a stretch goal on a campaign, but it's nice to tie crowdfunded properties together like that. I know like the Flock and Niobe and Demon Hunter Raven had a shared cover, so all three of them were kind of riding the hype train together like that because they all three used the cover. It was really cool. So having something like this offered on both the Embrace and on Perfect 10, you know, if you back both of them, you get this poster. That's a really neat idea. Creators helping creators. I think that that's nice. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, there's the fan art that won the fan art contest. And this is by Boob Dan himself. So good. It is good. It's very detailed, man. He's got a lot of line work there. And it's not just hatching or cross hatching too. This is like just some solid lines and some solid shading. I actually watched him ink this piece on his stream. It's very therapeutic. If you haven't checked out Boob Dan's channel on YouTube, you should. He does late night drawing and inking streams. And man, this guy, when he does sketch cards, it's something else.
That's pretty cool.
It actually makes me angry.
Because it's so good.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah. You have similar feelings when you watch Garrett draw.
Yeah, I do. You know.
Speaking of which,
why don't we take a look at what he's doing?
Garrett's not working on Mavericks today.
No, I'm just drawing some Space Marines punching each other up. Because, you know, sometimes you just got to draw some Space Marines.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if I could draw, this week has been the kind of week where I would want to draw things punching each other.
So I was actually doing some modeling and painting earlier.
Oh, yeah?
Today, like early this morning. Yep.
Yeah,
Put some arms on my girls.
In the Tau?
Yeah.
Nice.
On my original Tau. I actually wanted to show you one of them because I think I have the right angle that I want to put the arm on. And the green stuff is set nicely, so I could file it down and make a little nub to attach the arm. But I'll show you later when we're not actually streaming and talking to potentially the entire world.
This could become a Warhammer stream very quickly.
So yeah, it could very easily become a Warhammer stream. We may not want to do that. Are we done talking about the Embrace in the absence of Mr. Michael Oden?
The only other thing we can do is watch the teaser trailer.
Let's watch the teaser trailer. Yeah, it is a cool trailer. I like that.
Okay, so here we
Cue
go.
it up.
Rolling.
Short, sweet, to the point, really nice. I had so many cool questions that I'd thought of that I wanted to ask him.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's a very interesting idea.
Yep.
To have a suit made out of ghosts.
I agree.
Where it's the father that wears it. Because usually, like, it's the reverse. Usually it's like the son avenging the father, saving his father from the underworld and that kind of thing. I mean, it's a standard heroic trope. But this is kind of a interesting subversion. It's not really a subversion. It's a reversal of that trope where the father is both being saved by the son who is dead, but also is avenging that death. And I wanted to ask him, you know, some good questions about where that idea came from.
Did they ever go down that route with
We have Comics Mate in the house. Hey, buddy.
Yo.
How's it going? Good to see you. We actually just subbed to Comics Mate's channel. If you want to grab a link to that channel, Frequency Girl, and drop it into the chat. Oh, hey, Crimson L, what's up? How's it going? Been a while, man. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you again.
I just had that tab open too.
Yeah, you did. Right. Actually, Crimson, Comics Mate, you got 2 subs out of us. You got the main channel and you got my personal channel. So good looking out on you. Thanks for stopping by. Happy to see you. Let's look at what Garrett's up to again. It's interesting to watch you make art. It's not interesting to listen to me talk.
Just kind of doing some early sketch where we'll clean our lines up a lot.
So we have to figure out when we're rescheduling people too. 'Cause we had Chemo on the stream earlier in the week, like we were saying, and he got washed out. The interview was washed out due to flooding. Of course, Mike had to cancel, so we're gonna have to put him on the schedule again. And we've got 3 people on next week, so I don't know when we're gonna do
Comics
this.
Mate did draw it, so you could ask questions of him, maybe.
Bruh, that's true. I could. You know what? Can we drop the StreamYard link? Yeah, let me do that. I'm just gonna hit him on Twitter.
Okay. In the meantime, Garrett is trying.
Dean, I'm gonna send you. Garrett's doing what? I'm gonna send you the stream link if you want to come in. Just link to the StreamYard.
Yes, Crimson Owl, that is red from Fraggle Rock on our shelf. We also have Wembley on the other side. We can't see right now.
A lot of the nerd stuff
is
is Aaron and I's, but the Fraggles,
Those are Kim's.
Those are 100% made.
Those are Frequency Girl. And she demanded that we have them on the shelf.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They're a fantastic addition.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I have a Sailor Moon is also me.
I'm such a
Those
boomer.
Congo. I mean, Aaron likes Congo as well, but she's my girl.
There you go,
You-
Mr.
James.
You know you're not, right?
What, a boomer?
Yeah, that's a whole giant ways away
so,
from
so there's the term boomer that applies to people who are of the boomer generation, the baby boomers. And then there is the modern urban vernacular boomer, which is a person who acts like a person from that era, who doesn't understand technology, who can't figure out computers, who cocks up all of the, modern tech, like using Twitter and dropping links and all that other stuff. So yeah, when you can't use applications properly, they call it boomering. I don't know if you knew that. That's what the kids are saying, Garrett. I don't know if you knew. Hold on a second. I think you got a spider on you.
Is it a tick?
Might be a tick. Yeah, it's a tick. Holy shit.
Oh,
thank you for getting him off me.
Look at that guy right there.
Yeah.
It's a little tick.
Yeah.
all right.
They're waking up. So
Well, let's not just let it loose.
I'm not gonna just let it loose.
I was gonna say.
Dispose of it properly.
yeah, we live up in the Northeast, so it's springtime and all of the ticks are waking up, and Lyme is a real thing. So from your friends in the Northeast, the progenitors of Lyme disease, check yourselves for ticks. Be careful, especially if you're walking in the woods, which I do a lot.
So I don't, usually kill things, but mosquitoes and ticks, those are the exception.
Oh yeah.
All right, it's dead.
Thank you for keeping an eye out for me.
We have a Dean James on the stream. Dean, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Come on, man.
Yeah. G'day, everyone.
yes. Now I need headphones.
He didn't have his headphones in because we're like, oh, whatever,
I don't need them if I don't have
We
a
don't need
guest.
them right now.
I'm sorry, I can leave. It's fine. You've been doing great without me.
Where are you joining us
We
from,
just forgot
man?
to put them back on.
Australia. I'm over in Melbourne.
Awesome.
Oh,
So
that's
you're here late as hell, huh?
Where's
Or is it
No,
early
it's
as well?
lunchtime. It's lunchtime.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I can do math and time zones.
Where's he from?
Yeah, I can't.
Australia. And it's lunch.
wow.
It's lunchtime currently for him.
So, Dean, did you get wet too?
No, actually, no. It was raining a little bit down here, but it was nothing like what Kemosabe and everyone else was copying. Like in New South Wales, Kemosabe and Liam Gray from Xenotype, they both had flooded houses. But down here in like Melbourne, where me and Bancroft and Rob Arnold and most of the other Aussies are, we were all just a little bit damp.
Is Melbourne like the southeast part of Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We had a joke stream the night that Chemo could not join us, and we all made up tall tales about Australia.
Yeah.
we
I
don't
watched
know
the
very much
replay of that. I watched.
Oh,
the
you
replay
actually?
of that.
So you were like the other person. Okay, cool. We know now who our other viewer is. Right
But,
on.
did you end up buying Vegemite?
Not
no,
yet.
we're going to do that.
I'm definitely
for
going to
when
buy
he
it.
comes back.
Yeah,
though.
for when he comes back as a celebration.
Okay.
Have you
good.
seen his video on how to make Australian brekkie?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, do not like keep it really thin, lots of butter.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the way, like, when you see it on YouTube and you see people eat big spoons of it, that makes us sick as well. It is terrible to look at.
I mean, I guess that's kind of like if you're putting jam on toast. Like if you just ate a big thing
Aaron
of
does
jam.
not understand this
I
conversation.
do.
Oh,
I see
no way.
spoonfuls of jam.
That sounds horrible. That's way too sweet.
Aaron
like
will just take jam and peanut butter and a spoon and be like,
sometimes I
peanut
skip
butter.
the bread.
spoon
like
of jam.
oh god, like grape jelly. Like I don't mind the thin layer of that, but a big
The bread's
spoonful
just
of
the
grape jelly?
vehicle for
Oh.
the peanut butter and the jelly. I
Yeah.
don't know. Is that something that you guys do down there? Do you do peanut butter and jelly in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do peanut butter and Vegemite as well.
Whoa!
Okay.
So that's
Do
like
you
a
guys-
savory peanut butter and jelly.
Do you guys do
Yeah.
Peanut butter and fluffernutter?
and
Yeah,
marshmallow
marshmallow.
fluff?
No.
Ah.
I think it's a Northeast thing.
So that's like the
We got-
opposite of peanut butter and Vegemite.
I mean,
It's
this is-
super sweet.
Yeah, I
and-
also can't eat this anymore because I've lost a lot of my sweet tooth. But we
Yeah.
very Northeast thing. They sell marshmallow fluff. It's basically a jar of just melted marshmallow.
Yeah, it's the stuff you drizzle on top of like an ice cream sundae.
And a common thing is a peanut butter fluffernutter, is what
You
we
make-
call
you
it.
make bread, you
and
have
it's-
peanut butter one
It's
side.
peanut butter and
marshmallow
jelly,
fluff on
but
the
you
other.
sub
Yeah.
the jelly out for marshmallow.
Well,
Yeah.
that
and-
sounds
and-
delicious.
It is. I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
That and Miracle Whip sandwiches. Those are a thing too.
That-
Just bread and Miracle Whip, no meat.
That I've never had. I have had tomatoes, mayonnaise on bread, with salt and pepper. That's good, like a tomato mayo sandwich. But I've never.
All
had
right.
just-
So, do you want to try and field some of these questions? I can't ask you about Elysian Fields because I don't think that you were with him on that. Were you?
No, I
Mr.
wasn't
Michael
working
Oden?
with.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't working with Oden back then. I know, like, just the same amount as any other person that's read it.
How'd you get involved with it?
That was one of the questions that I have on the list. How did you guys meet up? How did you put the team together to work on the Embrace?
Oh, well, Oden came up with the idea of having the ghosts and his son with the dead son and the father, and like that whole bond creating a superhero. And he needed a designer to design the suit. And he spoke to a few of his mates, which turned out to be a few of my friends. And I think it was Kimasabi who actually recommended me to Oden. And Oden came to me because we had spoken a few times in the chats and stuff, in different live streams, things like that. But we didn't really know each other. And he sent me a message over on Twitter.
That's freaking cool. I love how like the community just kind of, hey, do you need an artist?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a writer.
So how'd you get involved doing comic art?
Oh, I've always wanted to be a comic book artist. Like
Yeah?
my entire life, like since I was a little kid, comic books have always been like I've done tattoos and I've done animating and I've done all kinds of different art stuff, but comic books were always my favorite, so it really wasn't until all of this indie comic scene started, really exploding online that it would have even been possible for me on someone on the other side of the world,
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you what I usually ask the guests when we start off. Why comic books? There's something very special about storytelling through sequential art that drew me to the medium. What is it that draws you about storytelling through sequential art?
that's very hard to explain. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like, because I've always been in love with just pop culture in general, like the movies and the cartoons and everything as well. But when it comes down to the comic book, like an actual comic book in your hand, you don't get the same feeling from a digital book. But when you're reading the actual book, you get much more involved in it. And even if it is just a still image, it comes down to a lot of the best artists that were, everyone's favorite artists from back in the day. But they had such a brilliant way of displaying motion, even in just an image that is like still, that you get more invested in these. You hear it all the time. People say, "Oh yeah, it was done better in the book." I completely agree with that sort of thing. I'm self-taught. I don't know all the terms and everything. Even when it comes to drawing, I've never been to art school or anything, so it's hard for me to describe it. But it's just more. It feels more alive. It feels more real, even if it is just drawings.
One thing I will say, because I went to art school. I went for painting.
Let's take a look at that.
There's a big difference between comics and traditional art forms, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
you can actually go get a degree in sequential art. Not
Yeah,
a
you
lot
can
of
now.
Well, no, for a while actually, just not a lot of schools do it. I mean, back when I went to school, I think the only places you could go for sequential art were like the School of Visual Arts in New York and Savannah College of Art down in Georgia. Or at least I'm sure there was more than that, but those are the only two that I was aware of. So I mean, and I didn't really think of it as something that I could go to school for. I went to school for painting like an idiot.
Hey man, you didn't go for comparative literature, okay? You at least can do something that will be able to sell work.
But
I
the point is,
compare myths for a living.
but the point is I think even like, you know, in academics, there's not a ton of people who are like necessarily like, you know, taught with anything other than just like hard-won knowledge. So
I think you nailed it, though.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of what makes sequential storytelling through imagery so successful is the immersiveness. The pictures, they say 1,000 words. You could write a novel, but it's not something you experience the way you do a comic book. The way that your eye moves across the page, it's very much like watching film. So it's kind of got the best of both of those mediums, but is also kind of, I think it was our last guest from Astounding Tales. His name? Jake Cohen. Said trapped in amber. It's like a moment in time frozen in amber. And I really like that idea. You were saying it's like when you're looking at cinematography and every frame is a painting.
Well, I think that was specifically in regards to that one Stokoe piece.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
But that's the whole point, is that you can do that with a comic book. You can't quite get it because film is moving. And you can't quite get it with a novel because the novel takes so much real estate to do that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Because with the Stokoe piece, I was saying that you could look at any inch of that piece and you could get like a really great composition out of it because there's just so much detail. On a comic page, the panels have a weird relationship where you actually earn panels that aren't worth much on their own. So, but other panels make it like sing. So it's actually like greater than the sum of its parts. That's kind of how I feel about that.
Gotcha.
That Stokoe piece was like a weird,
So,
like,
So how did you get into comics? I mean, you said you've always wanted to draw them. Are you inspired by any particular artists or writers?
Oh yeah, definitely. That started
Hail
when I was
Comics
a
with
little
Drew.
kid. G'day, Drew. Good to see you, mate. But yeah, that all started when I was a little kid. My dad bought me my first comic book when I was probably 5 or 6. And, I had a few here or there scattered around. But being in Australia, comic books are few and far between. Like, there's not many comic book shops around here unless you live in the city. So we could only get them from news agencies and things like that. And even then, there wasn't many to choose from. So up until I was a young teenager, the only comic books I really had were just ones that my older cousins had given me, ones that my dad gave me, things like that. And that entire time, I was always drawing anyway as a little kid. I was drawing Looney Tunes and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. And
Right on.
when I hit about, I don't know, maybe I think I was 13-ish, 14, my best friend at the time, he gave me a copy of Hush. The first issue of Hush was Batman 608 or 609. And he asked me why all my characters, when I draw them, they look like Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon characters with their eyes. And I didn't even really know what he meant at the time. And when he handed me Batman Hush, and that you probably know has Jim Lee's artwork all over it,
Yeah.
it changed everything forever. I went and grabbed bloody Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. I grabbed Jim Lee's X-Men. I grabbed Greg Capullo and Spawn and everything. Like I got the.
Are
first
you
issue
are you
of Spawn
talking
off
about
the bat.
90s comics?
Yeah, 90s comics.
Talking about 90s? Okay. You and I,
Yes.
we get along fine.
Yeah,
Good.
well, that was where it all
you've always
started.
been into it. Always been into the comics and the drawing and the artwork. And then it was that one critical moment which kind of blew the hinges off the door. And comic books came flooding in, and you just were insatiable and ravenous, and you wanted to get your hands on everything within that medium. I think that's great. I think a lot of the people that we've spoken to have had a very similar moment of inspiration where they just realized that this is what I like, this is what I want, and I want more.
Is there anybody who's working currently that you're really jamming on that's like gets your like
art juices flowing?
Currently, not as much anymore. Like, I still like Greg Capullo's work,
Mhm.
even though it's gotten kind of sloppy in the newer DC stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm always going to be a fan of Todd McFarlane, even though he doesn't exactly draw often anymore.
He makes great action figures.
Yeah, he does. He does make great action figures. But to be honest, I'm a big fan of a lot of the more like the indie guys lately. Like, I've been paying more attention to people like Joe Catapano and
Yep.
Rob Willis when he actually finishes stuff.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah, Joe Catapano's art is fantastic.
So
Joe, I can't say enough nice things about Joe.
Joe's great. I'm in love with Rockfort's stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Rockfort was always one of my favorites.
That and Eric Canetti. The two of them, just like they're what I'm vibing on right now. But of course, there's our current favorites are in the mainstream, Daniel Warren Johnson, and of course James Stokoe, who is just like a fixture of like, I don't know, obscure. You can call him obscure because American audiences don't know him as well.
His name's starting to gain a lot more.
It's now starting to gain a lot more because he's doing more things with like the big two, and even in the mainstream public eye, things that are being carried more by your local comic shops. But he's also not one of those. He's not like a Greg Capullo or a Todd McFarlane or a Jim Lee. What's up?
I was gonna say, do you follow Greg Capullo on Instagram?
Not anymore.
I would say he's been posting stuff lately. He's working on his own creator-owned.
Yeah, some of his sketches have been phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's actually been. I think he's actually like digging in and
Greg Capullo did lose a lot of his
chops out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he like. I don't even think the issues with his artwork on DC was Greg Capullo's fault more so than the inkers, because he was sharing his pencils for even Death Metal. He was sharing his pencils, just like certain panels and things on Twitter, and they all looked awesome. But then when you get to that actual panel finished and inked and colored, it doesn't look half as good as his pencils did. Yeah. And so I don't even blame him for the, like, I'm not saying that I like his art still because it's kind of gone downhill, but him, like, if you move him away from that team, I'm sure that his would be great, and I can't wait to actually see his own crowdfunding project.
If you peek in on him, you don't necessarily.
I'm going to. No, I'm going. I'm definitely going to.
The Samurai Village, was that the one you're talking about? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could probably bring it up, and we could look at some of his art on stream, and then get struck by YouTube for looking at stuff that we're.
So I appreciate, as an artist, I appreciate the hell out of Instagram because it's just it's
share your art.
I mean, one of the nice things is that like if you make sure that your Instagram is just focused down on the things that you like. It's a great visual feed for just inspiration sometimes.
Better than Pinterest.
Oh god,
you hate Pinterest.
Way better than Pinterest.
Pinterest is the goddamn black hole of the internet.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to start you on
ruined
that.
My goddamn week mentioning Pinterest.
Worse.
So I'm angry now.
Worse than the traffic court today.
Oh fuck.
Oh, okay. We'll have to go into the reason Garrett hates Pinterest.
No, let's stop talking about this shit.
I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We're going to go back to talking about The Embrace, which is such a freaking cool book. Yeah. So Mike had the idea for a suit made of ghosts.
Yeah, he has what me and Kemosabe have been referring to, like behind this, because Kemosabe is our editor on this book as well, because he wants to be the indie comics, the go-to guy for editing books. So if
I didn't know this is critical information I was unaware of. Thank you.
Yeah, so he does. Anyone out there listening, if he wants, like, if you need an editor, go give him a message or something.
I would trust Chemo as an editor. I would, because the guy's very sharp. He's very quick, and he knows stuff about story. I just saw him on Comic today. Actually,
yeah, he's a fantastic writer. I've actually read a few of his things. I've read some of his novels. Company Man's going to be so good. I can't wait for that either.
Yeah.
we backed that as soon as we could.
Yeah, I know him, but even if I didn't know him, I would still be saying Company Man looks fantastic because it really does look like one of the best ones out there at the moment.
Yeah, we're super
besides
excited.
The Embrace, of course.
Of course, besides The Embrace.
Which we are also super excited for.
Right. I mean, we've backed The Embrace twice, I think. I think we backed
That's
different
awesome.
tiers.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we backed the Elysian Fields catch-up tier, and we backed the triple cover with $3.
Yeah.
That's good. That the Nine Realms one will be gone at the end of this month because that was only for the first month backers. Unless Michael has changed his mind about that. But as of right now and for the foreseeable future, that will be the only way that you can get any of those Elysian Fields extras or anything from the original campaign.
You need to go out and get that tier because if it disappears, you're probably not going to have the chance to get it again for quite some time. And you want to read Elysian Fields. You want to read earlier Michael Oden stories. They were very
Elysian
successful.
Fields got great reviews.
Yeah, I mean, the first one, issue 0, had 288 backers and cleared around 9K. All right. Pyramid Gambit had slightly less, 144 backers, but I think it ran for less time, but it still cleared 8K. These are both very successful campaigns. They kind of put him really solidly in everybody's mind as a successful crowdfunding person. And, you know, he's only capitalized on that and pushed the Embrace further as a result. So you want to check out his earlier stuff. But back to this campaign, you designed the look, and the look is very unique. The hands creep me the heck out, but at the same time, I can't stop looking at them. I love them. By the way, did you know Garrett did an original art piece for the Embrace? Did you get to see it?
No, I did not know
You
that.
have it? You want to throw it up? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I could look for it.
Look for it. We did some fan art for the Embrace.
That's awesome. I love that.
So, funny thing about that.
You're gonna get on me about it now?
Yeah, absolutely. This motherfucker turns to me and is like, "Hey, they're doing a art competition for the Embrace. It might do like an alt cover with the person who wins." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds
featured in a gallery in the back.
That's awesome. That's fantastic." And he goes, "You should do it." And I was like, "All right, cool. How much time do I have?" And he goes, "Oh, it's going to be like a couple of weeks, couple of something like that." I'm like, cool, not a problem. I got that.
I miscounted. Okay.
The next, this is like Tuesday, right? And then like Wednesday or Thursday, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, by the way, the deadline's Sunday." Or no, not even. No, you're like, it's Friday. It was something crazy like that. No. You negotiated with Mike Oden that I could put it in Sunday. I think they wanted it by Friday,
possibly.
So like Thursday, he's like, "Dude, make me a fan art cover.
Just Garrett, just go draw something
by Sunday."
That's what you do, right?
And this is like at the end of like a week that I had already done a ton of stuff.
And of course,
I'm looking
something
at him like
that could potentially be published or be featured in a book or in the back of, so he wants it to actually look good, and he's kind of a perfectionist when it comes to things. He'll sit with them and he'll fiddle with it. I understand what it's like because I write the same way and I fiddle with my scripts. Yeah, but yeah, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I know I gave you like 3 days to do it. It's good practice, though. It's good practice.
No, it's not. It's horrible practice. Nothing good about working that way. Wait till the last fucking minute.
So go find the fan art that you did in 3 days, and we'll show it to him. How did you come up with this design? I know it's inspired by the Crow and by the Darkness, but it is in and of itself got a really unique look.
Yeah, well, the story is more inspired by the Crow and the Darkness. Like, obviously, he doesn't look anything like the Crow, but I really don't know how to. Like, it just kind of came to me. Like, I got Oden to tell me about his idea for a superhero story, and he gave me a brief description of what he wanted, because he said that he wanted it to be sleek and like a symbiote suit, and he specifically said the black suit Spider-Man, and so that was where I started. But then as we were talking about the story, Oden always says the Crow and Haunt, where I'm all Spawn and the Darkness, and that's what I've injected into this story. And as soon as I say that, you're like, oh yeah, I totally see it. Yeah,
you see it from much more of a visual perspective. I think when he's talking about the Crow, he's talking about the atmosphere of the book,
exactly,
and his headspace when he starts writing.
I mean, honestly,
you're talking about like this is what it looks like. It looks like the symbiote Spider-Man or the Spawn suit or the Darkness, and that's the ambiance for the visual element.
I mean, honestly, he does. You nailed it. It feels like a cross between Spawn and the Crow. Or, I mean, I think Black Suit Spider-Man also makes perfect sense.
Zoom in on it. I want to see it. Make it big.
Oh, I've seen this. Did you do this in 3 days?
Yeah.
This is
my fault.
awesome.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We were talking about this just the other day because Oden wants to use this on something.
Oh, you guys are more than welcome to use this on stuff. Just, give me a shout out.
Give him some credit,
Yeah, give me a shout out, and you guys are more than welcome to have it.
Yeah,
So-
because I'm not sure what he
Look at
wants
all
to
the
use it
tiny
for, but there's a
hands!
few different things that we still need to. He still needs to like technically get me to draw. You know, it's like, God damn it, I can't be doing all of it. So
I feel your pain.
yeah,
I know he
But
feels your
these
pain. I
fucking
don't feel
writers.
any pain.
it was
You're right.
it was a very
I got
big
it.
mistake to give my character 6 hands at least at all times. So
Oh man,
That's perfect.
writers can't live with them, can't live without them. Fucking A.
Well, you could make your own book. It would just be harder.
Yeah.
So that's so we got a good idea where you came up with the idea. What inspires you to make comics? I can't ask that of Mike, and I can't ask whether or not there was like any personal connection to this character, but I can ask you what inspires you to make these things. I know you want to make them, I know you aspire to, but there's got to be something that in the back of your mind burns that light bulb and keeps you ravenous to create.
well, I'm not. That kind of goes back to the original thing that like comic books are just something that I've always loved. I don't really have the words to describe it or anything like that, and it wasn't like really, like we've all seen how the mainstream's quality has been dropping over the years. Like some of it's still good, some of it's gotten really bad. And it got to the point where I thought I had grown out of comic books. I honestly thought that I just didn't like them anymore, and I thought it was just me. And it wasn't until I discovered the indie comic scene and all these different people screaming about, comics are crap now, where are all the good ones gone, that I realized, oh, wait, I do still like comic books and I love this stuff. And this is my chance to chase my childhood dream and all of that, all just at once, So
That's
yeah,
the best
I really
inspiration.
do. Yeah, I don't know
That
how
is
to
the
describe
best
it.
inspiration. No, I mean, that's perfect. You nailed it right with that. What inspires you to do this is to chase your dream and the realization that you have every chance and opportunity to do that. There's really nothing standing in your way. That's one of the great things about the world of self-publishing and crowdfunding is that suddenly when we're creating and we want to create, the barriers that we have in our mind are that this is an industry that we have to break into, or there's a whole proving ground that we have to overcome in order to earn a name and be recognized. No, that's not true at all. I forget who it was who said it was. Yeah, the Quaff said get out of your own way, but I was going to reference specifically. I think it was Jim Zub. How do you break into comics? How do you get into a convention? You get a table at a convention. You're in comics.
Yep.
You're in it. You're in the industry. You're selling something at a convention. So when we realized that, it was like a revelation. So I think your motivation is great, and I think if you keep pushing yourself to make stuff, you've got a great career ahead of you. How old are you, by the way? I never asked you any of the personal questions that I ask other people.
I'm 30.
Okay,
I know
so
I sound young as hell, but I'm not.
You're young.
Well, I'm 35.
I'm ancient.
He's 40,
Oh.
right?
I'm a Methuselah.
So
Well,
it's just
no, I'm the
5
youngest
year
out of
catch
most
up.
of us.
No,
But
get out of here.
I say I am 40. Right.
Speaking of comics art and stuff like that, have you ever are you familiar with Scott McCloud? Did Understanding Comics and Making Comics?
no.
Dude, so I personally, I think one of the most transformative books for myself were these two
books
by
Scott McCloud.
One's called Understanding Comics, and the other is called Making Comics. And they're actually like
They're comics.
They are a graphic novel, but it's also like a legitimate
Education in a book.
You need to stop cutting me off, man.
That's what I do.
But they are fantastic, and he breaks down so many like great elements about comics. He explains vocabulary of like artist vocabulary for things, and kind of like helps just arm you with all of those kind of bits of knowledge and words that you already know. It's in your head. It puts it out on a paper, and you go, oh yeah, that's that thing.
It gives it a lexicon.
Yeah, it's such a good book,
and it's funny because we were just using it the other day,
to
honestly, talk about something we didn't know. We were trying to talk about it. We didn't have the right words.
It helps he and I get on the same page a lot of the time. He's coming at it from a writing perspective. I come at it from an artist perspective. Oftentimes we have mixed signals about how we want something to come out.
Yeah.
So if you use kind of like a a lexicon or a particular
Well,
vocabulary. It's like a way to meet at using the right language.
Yeah, and it's also when I know something's wrong with a page that I'm working on, I can go through the Scott McCloud's books and find what exactly it is that's bothering me, and then that helps me kind of actually think, okay, this is a problem with the panel transition.
Not with me.
You know, well, like
Aaron's gonna say not with me for everything that you list.
but no, I can identify my own problems, right? If I'm drawing something and it doesn't feel right, I can say, all right, why doesn't this feel right? It's because I'm not conveying the right amount of passage of time. I could be using this panel differently.
I think for me, it was really useful because it gave me terms that I could reference. Because like you said, it's stuff that you know and you don't know how to convey it with very few words or one term that comprises a complicated idea.
But I recommend it for any other artist working in comics to get those books and just have them on hand, because I think it really improves my own game. So if it's something you want to check out.
I don't know. Dean?
Yeah, just call me Bill Finger. That's been running. That's been a running gag for a while now. I just remembered to change my name right before I jumped Indian, but just call me the Bill Finger of indie comics, because I'm the co-creator of the Embrace as well. Like the whole hands thing, that was all me. Like all of those things. And then on the stream the other day,
you came up with the way it looks. Absolutely, you're the guy that
the other week. We're just teasing Oden about it because the other week he forgot to mention my name at all the entire time he did this whole stream. And he said everything about Paul Billick, the colorist. He said how I was telling the story. He scrolled past all my pictures, didn't mention my name at all. And then everyone was like, "Who's your artist, Oden?"
Well, I have you down right here. Where I was going to ask him, how did you put your team together? Because that's, one of my things. How do you find the people that you work with? Especially for creators that watch the show and have no idea how to do any of the stuff that you guys are already freaking doing.
I can tell you how
you're on to talk about it. That's great. Oh, by the way, Noah!
What's up, dude?
But yeah, I can tell you how Oden finds like new creators and stuff, because he prides himself on, he wants Nine Realms to grow into like a publishing company that always finds the new guys and finds the unknown talents where they can grow and develop over time. And like your new favorite artist 10 years ago, he was working at Nine Realms back when no one knew who he was. That's Oden's whole plan. And so he goes out of his way to go on to like Reddit, all through Twitter, Instagram, every Facebook groups, anywhere you can find. And he goes and finds artists that he thinks are good that are also unknown. Like he makes a point of finding new guys.
Like a publishing company that brings in new talent, new artists.
Yeah.
I don't know if he looks for new writers, but that would kind of create an imprint. Nine Realms sounds like that. Brain Cage is doing the whole shared universe. What we originally conceived of was giving completely unknown creators their first shot, and that's it. Like just to get them published out the door into the world, and then it's designed to be an incubator, not necessarily like an ongoing running thing. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to like hold people's hands or hold them hostage. I wanted to help.
That's what a lot of us need, though. That is exactly like that's all we need. Like there's a lot of artists. I'm 30, and this is going to be my first book. It's Oden's third, but it's my first book just because I'm on the other side of the world, and life gets in the way more often than not. All that stuff, but
oh yeah.
There's no reason that I should have been 30 before I released a comic book, considering I've been thinking about it my entire life. Yeah. So there's a lot, like there's been plenty of times that I had wrote into Marvel and DC and stuff growing up where I was like, I'll move to New York if they hire me. But half the time I never even got responses. And so it's really good to see people nowadays that actually actively look for new guys.
It's Dojo Kun who will tell you that when you get hired by Marvel, you don't ask them to hire you. They come to you and say, okay, we're going to hire you. You can't write something or, write to them and ask them for a job interview. You have to put stuff out that they then see, that they then try and approach you and get you. It doesn't necessarily have to be art and books. It can be, Twitter tweets that piss people off. But it's most helpful that it be something within the craft. At least, that's what leads to making good comics. Anyway, I'm glad that you realized that at 30, because I realized that at 40, and then I realized it, I guess, maybe around the same time that you did, but 10 years later in my life. But luckily for us, at least in the US, we grew up eating so many preservatives. I'm convinced that I'm going to live for 100 years. So, oh, hey, what's up, Jake? Good to see you, my man. Hope Indie Volt was treating you
What's
well.
going on, dude?
Yeah.
Good day.
We're actually going to have him on Monday. We got Jake and Peter stopping by.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right on.
they're bringing the Indie Volt campaign.
Oh, awesome! Excited to see that.
What does Noah say?
We'll never find someone as wise as Dean again. It's a fluke when you find an artist who thinks to add a giant fly to a page.
That's fair.
The fly has been a breakout star.
I liked Drew's comment earlier about emulating Jules' song because I heard the lyrics in my head. He's not wrong. That's like exactly what's going on. These hands are small, I know, but they're not yours. They are my own. Like there's cryptic language there that, you know, kind of foreshadows what the suit is really all about. I wonder if Jewel is really in Embrace. You know, she forecasted this. So we went through the campaign without you, unfortunately. I guess we could quickly do that again if you want to go a little bit over. Did you have any say in the putting together of the campaign?
Yeah. I more often than not, I tell Oden off for certain things. Like if he says or does something stupid, I'm like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" Like it's that's why I laughed earlier when you said it's hard for artists and writers to communicate, because it's a miracle that me and Oden even created anything together at all. So
I mean, yeah, because you guys don't like have a history together and you're working on opposite sides of the world. That is a miracle. I know Garrett for years, and we're creating something together.
Well,
Sometimes
we went back
it's a fucking miracle that it happens.
So yes, we did. We went back on back and forth on everything. The Spectral Edition was actually my idea. Like I wanted to give, you know, because we're relatively unknown, we don't have a bunch of fans that are going to automatically want to throw hundreds of dollars at us. So that's why sorry about that.
That's
I live on a main road, but because we're not famous or anything, we wanted to have extra incentive for you to back the one of everything tier, so you get like one of every book. But the Spectral Edition is actually free. Like if you do all of the math, you're only paying for the printing, and then if we get to all of our extra stretch goals, all the extra things get automatically added to that. And if we get to, I think it's 6,000, if we unlock the secret stretch goal, which unfortunately I can't tell anyone what that is, but we're right there, we're right near it. The everything tier, that Spectral Edition is officially free. If anything, we're giving you $5 to take the Spectral Edition off us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Noah has a question. Why does the title say Oden when Dean's the one on the show? Because originally, Noah, we were going to have Mike on, but Mike got waylaid by a last-minute circumstance, which led to us being lucky enough for Dean to pop by the stream to see what was going on, and we gave him the StreamYard link.
And he was gracious enough.
To join us.
I know what I need to do.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna edit the thumbnail so that when we put it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, that's a great
you
idea.
did.
So,
Excellent.
you know what, Noah? Thank you very much for pointing that out. I think Garrett's going to fix it right now. Are you going to add him, or are you just going to replace
I'm going to
Michael
cross
Oden?
out
You're
Michael
gonna
Oden.
cross him out? We'll have to have him back on. We don't want to be unfair to the guy, but you know, we're having a little bit of fun at his expense. How far are they?
I always do.
For the Spectral Edition. Is your home button still not working?
Oh, hey, there we go.
There we go. Oh yeah, dude, you're right there.
Yeah.
You really are.
We really are, because we've got the secret
Scroll
tier,
down.
like the secret special perk. Like I keep calling.
So
it
you're
secret
telling
tier.
me there's a secret perk to
Well,
unlock?
it's the stretch goal. So I don't really know what to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they call these things perks, right? The tiers that you pick. I can't understand the lexicon because Indiegogo calls it one thing, Kickstarter calls it another. Guys, can't we just figure out our terms?
And then you have stretch goals.
I'm new at this. Okay.
Oh, you should see Aaron will come to me and he's like, oh, I have an idea for our perk or for our stretch goal.
Yeah, which
or for
one
our
is it?
tier. And I think he means one thing and he thinks he means something else. And then there's a whole argument as to what we're actually talking about.
Yeah, well, Michael
You
keeps
two up there,
doing
man?
the same thing with this. He keeps calling it a secret tier, and that's where I've gotten it from.
So the signed Barton print
Yeah, I can explain all of this.
Or the Dean James title page would put you over, wouldn't they?
Yeah. If anyone buys any of the more expensive things, basically any one of those art pieces will put us over the top of it.
Right.
But the one thing I do have to mention with it, because we've got some issues with like the way it's written out, like we've made some mistakes and then we went live and someone backed something before we could change any of it.
Yeah, I hate
like
that. You can't change that. Too.
Yeah, exactly. But basically with these prints, because me and Barton both work digitally 99% of the time, these are going to be printed out on proper thick cardboard, thick board, 11 by 17, full sized, and then signed by the artist official, like for real. But they're going to be one of one. It's going to serve as the official real artwork, like an original piece, because so that way we can delete our files off of our computers and things like that.
Oh, nice. I heard about that.
But the title page is the actual artwork. But Michael Oden, this isn't mentioned in the tier there, but Michael has essentially given up his creative control of the title page to you if you buy it. That's the original sketch that I've gone with because that's my idea for it. Basically, we need to kind of keep one side of the page a little bit more clear for the credits to go over it, which is why he's leaning up against one side of it. But, we can completely change that if that's what you want. But you're paying to design the very, very first page when you open up the Embrace. You get to design it. Like with me, we go back and forth. I'll end up finishing it. You get to keep the original art piece and a copy of the book. No shipping or anything because it's so expensive. We figured, fuck it, we'll pay for the shipping because you're paying $200. And yeah, if you really wanted to, you could just make me draw something that isn't even Embrace related, and we can make that the title page.
So you're saying I could make Chris in a red dress?
I mean, if you want to. Oden has sole creative control. That's what he's done.
I like it, Garrett. You did a really good job, and however long it took you to do that.
Well, I got the file built already, so whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's cool font too. I know it's preset, right? Or did you do that by hand just now? That's preset font. That's got to be preset font.
No, that's a preset font.
Yeah, I was like, you're not that good to do that in 5 minutes. I would not be paying you enough if that was the case.
You do it then.
I will. It just won't look as good as that. I'll have to open up MS Paint because God, I can't use Clip Studio. I don't know what I'm doing. You're lucky I got this live stream together. So Noah's really glad you're on. He thinks you're way more creative than Mr. Michael Oden because you came up with the fly. All right. So what is this fly he is talking about?
The fly is the breakout star. The fly is the breakout star of the Embrace. It was something that I added earlier when we were talking about how I'm looking at it from a visual perspective, from an artist's point of view. That is exactly what happened. That's where the fly came from. Because obviously, not every part of a story is going to be exciting and explosions and action. You've got to have setup and you have to build, you have to explain what's happening. So there's 3 pages at the very start of the book that are the conversation between the captain. Like if you've read the description of the story, you find out that in the very start of the book, the police are telling Clarence, the main character, that they can't solve his son's murder and that they're going to close it and they're very sorry. Well, that conversation and everything leading up to that in the police station goes for 3 pages. And in that 3 pages, I got sick of drawing office space in the background. So I added, it's really as simple as that. I got sick of drawing shelves, and so I added a fly. And this fly, because Clarence is in a shit place. He starts off the book he's a mess. So this fly is following Clarence around.
Yeah, perfectly placed.
And yeah, that's what happens.
I absolutely understand that. Like weird things when you're just sitting there looking at it all right, this is a great script, but how do I balance this equation and make it look look good?
Is the
so
fly.
I get the reader's attention, and they actually want to read the words because that's most of the artist's job is figuring out how to make that work. So many times when I get bored with something and I go, oh, you know what? I'm going to add a little detail here.
Mm-hmm. I love it when he does that too, especially when it's something that we know together. What's the font called? Noah wants to know so he can use it next week.
The font that I used for
his next book's logo. Hey, you picked his logo.
So that font is
think it's still available. There's a website called Blambot. They're awesome. They have a lot of fonts that you can purchase, but they also have a lot of fonts that are free. And any of the free fonts are actually good for indie creators. They actually on the website give permission to use those in any kind of indie production. So you can check out their terms and conditions, but it's very flexible for people in indie comics. That particular font is called You Murderer, I think.
So
if
you pick up that font and you use it as your next book's logo, I can guarantee you, Noah, you're going to kill it. Yeah, I can make puns too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm funny? No, I'm not funny.
That's your second pun in one night.
I know, there's
worried
something wrong with
about
the
you.
world.
Here we go.
All right, so we talked about the tiers. We talked about the stretch goals. There's a secret stretch goal. We don't know what it is. Did you and Michael discuss why to do crowdfunding over another format like Webtoons or Patreon? I mean, I guess the answer is obvious. But
No. Yeah, no. Like as we spoke about earlier, Oden's on his third book. This was already something that he knows how to do, which is why I've let him take control of all of the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like if you read up the top, it says it's Michael Oden's campaign because he knows what he's doing. I'm actually going to get him to help me with my future campaigns as well.
There it is.
So, yeah, like he's good at it. He knows what he's doing. So, you know, like, sometimes I forget how talented he actually is when he starts writing. You know, like I'll read some of the script of The Embrace. I'll go, fuck, man, this is actually beautiful. Like, what have you done here? But then he'll start talking and I'm like, oh, man, shut up.
I think Garrett has the exact same experience. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be putting words in his mouth, but
yeah, so he's
I do
really
put
good
words
at what
in
he
his mouth.
does.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Close enough. We'll go with that.
But yeah, like I give him a lot of shit, but the point is he's really good at what he does, you know, and I trust him with all of that sort of thing. But outside of, you know, like we go back and forth and he asks my advice on what I think we should do. And like, as I said, the Spectral Edition being a free add-on and stuff like that, incentive, that was all my idea. And being black and white was kind of like both of our ideas. Like that, he wanted a black and white version originally. He didn't even want it to be in color. Like that's the whole Crow thing was the original seed of the whole idea. He wanted it to be a black and white book. He wanted the noir feeling and all that. But when we got the colored design in originally, he changed his mind instantly. But we wanted to kind of pay homage to that and then create like the super collectible that is the black and white version. And all of that ended up becoming the Spectral Edition. But yeah, like we go back and forth on everything.
When I was looking through the campaign and I read about that and how it was, you could only get it as part of this other tier to get you to buy all 3 copies. I thought that was super smart.
So when Frequency Girl gives you a compliment about the way you set up your crowdfunding campaign, that's actually a real significant feat because she has done so much research into marketing and making successful campaigns, how to price things, at what price points to spread things out. So her complimenting you, it's nice to be like, oh, thank you. That was smart. But yeah, that means something. So.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Noah wants to know if the Embrace is a one-shot, and I have a feeling you've probably asked that on other streams. So
no, it's not. No, there's been 5. There's going to be 5 or 6. You know, like there's going to be half a dozen issues, give or take, of the Embrace. We already have the whole story planned out. We know how it's going to end. We have all the dot points of every issue, but we haven't written it all yet. We've written the first.
So not
2
a
issues.
one-shot, but a 6-shooter.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Yeah. And there will be a special edition for every issue as well. There'll be a black and white edition for everyone. So if you end up
get a
with
collector's edition.
Yeah. If you get all of them, by the end of that, if you have the complete Spectral Edition collection, that will be by far the most expensive one of the lot of them. Because we're not redoing them at all.
Yeah, I can imagine that. If you started from the ground floor from square one and you're with the Embrace ride or die all the way through and you pick up all of the Spectral editions, that collection is going to be significant. That's going to be awesome. Do you have a time frame on this?
Yeah. I'm on track to have all the pages finished by the time the campaign closes. I
mean all 6 issues.
Oh, all 6 issues over the next couple of years. Like we have it planned out. Like I go from Embrace issue 1. I'm going to be working on Sinner, which is, as of right now, we're just teasing the Sinner. So look out for the Sinner, everyone. But
Is it also from the imprint? From
no,
your label
no,
together?
no,
This
that is
your
me and
piece.
that's
That
me and
was a
Kim
typical
Asabi
Aaron
together.
question before. He's like, "You have a timeline?" You're like, "Yeah, actually." So my pages for this book. He goes, "No. The 6 things. Tell me about that timeline."
Show me the broad spectrum plan here.
Yeah,
Go
we're
on
gonna
to
have
that,
the first
though.
2 issues.
So we're still making sure you're getting all the pages crisp and good for the campaign when it's finished. How
Yeah.
many pages is the book altogether?
40 pages of story plus
Good size.
any extras and stuff we add on. And if we get to obviously, one of the stretch goals is the Astonishing Arachnatine, which is a short story set in the same world. And the Astonishing Arachnatine is a fictional superhero in the Embrace story that David was a fan of before he died.
That's cool. So
Looks like we got a Joe Catapano in the house. Hey there, buddy. We were just talking about your book before.
G'day, Joe.
We're all big fans.
hell no, it was a nice day out today.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got 2 in under 2 minutes.
You had to catch
Took me
up
the
with
entire
you.
day. Stop. So you mentioned the Sinner. That's all you, right? That's going to be your
No, that's
creation?
me and Kimasabi. That's me
Oh,
and
and Kimosabe. Oh man, that's going to be a team up for the ages.
Is
Yeah,
that
he wrote
in
that
pre-launch
all.
yet, or
No, I'm going to be launching that the day that I finish the pages for the Embrace. I'm going to work on the mailing list for Sinner, and then we'll launch that. Once I've done with the Sinner, I'm moving straight to the Embrace 2. And during that time, Oden will be working on something that I'm pretty sure is still top secret. You'll have to ask him about that. But
That's
he
great.
has
So you
something
guys-
else lined up as well.
You're in it now. Like there's going to be no
Yeah.
stopping you. You've got the momentum.
Yeah.
You're going to go from one project to the next project to the next project. There's no slowing down.
It's a big year for
Caught
us.
the bug, and and that's great.
and your art is just
the art's fantastic. Do
Thank
you want to take one more look and refresh the campaign? Let's do that. Let's add the campaign back in here.
Oh,
So there you go. Did a
Oh,
little
we did it.
frequency finesse.
Awesome. I'm going to have to go tell Oden so we can make that tweet. And
Yeah, and remind him that he gave up.
Everyone.
Remind him he gave up creative control of that front page.
Oh, yeah, he did. He gave up creative control of the title page. Everybody knows that. I'm sure that everyone's heard that by now.
Right.
Everyone knows that.
That was actually the first time that I figured that out and put that together. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
this is-
not clear on the page, like on the campaign page at all. I
Right.
know that. That's one of our many mistakes.
That's. I mean, hey, it worked in my favor. So I think we're gonna have to let you go here. We had a great time talking
Thank
to you.
you
When the
so,
Yeah,
so
man.
much.
Thank you
thank
for
you
hanging
so
out.
much for jumping in and coming on the stream.
Oh,
and
thanks for having
taking
me.
his place. It was a wonderful conversation. When the campaign
It was just
wraps
pure
up-
luck I showed up.
Oh, hey, that's fantastic. It would have been really great if Mike had sent you a tweet and been like, so I'm bailing on these guys. Will you go cover my interview? I kind of thought for a moment maybe that's what happened, but
No, I think he's just got some life stuff
Yeah.
happening. Let's be nice to him.
I'll thank serendipity.
Let's just
Yeah.
acknowledge the fact that his artist got his back, and that's
that's-
what
yeah.
being a good team is all about.
And his campaign broke 6, so now you guys get to announce that secret stretch goal and push this campaign a little bit farther. What's that, Frequency Girl? Hey, Joe Grant! Wow, how are you doing, buddy? We got to talk after this. We're just about to cut the stream off, but
He says that your art is great. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Like I've said before on streams multiple times that, when you have normal people that don't read comic books, so just normies like your friends and family from work or school, it's different. Like if someone who reads comic books says that they like my artwork, they have the same comparisons in their head that I do, so it's a different feeling. So I really appreciate that, hearing that from other comic book fans.
well, it's true. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
you appreciate it, and it's also it's also nice that you can let it sink in that it's true.
Yeah.
It's not flattery because there's no reason to flatter you. It's not like we're going to get ahead in our
well, I still
careers or anything by
disagree.
kissing butt, whatever. But yeah, so when you guys are done, are you extending the campaign at all, or are these 5 days? That's it.
Yeah, we are going to go into a second month because
that's good.
because it has been so. It would have closed if no one really noticed it or if it was dying down, but because it's getting so much attention and people seem to be really excited for the Embrace, we want to give the backers as much time as possible.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
we'll
fantastic.
probably even go into in demand as well.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's one of the things we were considering doing. What's up?
It hasn't loaded yet, but there's a comment that I want to put up on the screen before we go. Sorry, I just thought it was cute.
I can't see it.
Here we go.
If you were flatting, you could call
Flattering.
it flattering and chatting.
Oh.
Oh man, Noah's getting in on the puns too. Damn. Flattering and chatting with James.
Fits right in.
With James Dean. I keep wanting. I'm so bad with that. Billy Tucci, Stanley Tucci. Who am I talking to? I don't know.
Yeah, it took Aaron a while to get my name right, and we've been married for how long now?
Too long, Frequency Girl. Too long. So, yeah, when you guys are done with this campaign, after you've extended and then gone into demand, we're going to have the two of you on together. Would that be okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I've been making jokes at Oden's expense because it is difficult to get us both together at the same time. So if we can work that out, I'm more than happy to, and I know he is as well.
And in the meantime, I would love to reschedule with him just to talk to him because,
Yeah,
writer
of
to
course.
writer. It's great to talk to artists. I really love doing that because
Don't lie, you hate that.
well, I love talking to other artists.
Just messing with you.
No, it's great to talk to artists to get their take on a book, but as a writer, talking to another writer, that's really useful for me.
I appreciate having some artists on that
Yeah.
we can kind of commiserate about being worked.
And it's being worked hard to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never get it right. They'll be like, "Oh, you want to draw this and this and this," and then this happens, and then a dinosaur comes in, and you're just like, "Great!"
Oh, so you listened to Aaron here talk.
What were we were discussing doing the animated trailer, and I was like, we should do these things, and I want to get a 360 rotoscoped view of this eagle. How many frames do you have to draw to get it flapping its wings?
Meanwhile,
All of the color drains out of his face.
Dude, I wanted to
actually
talk to you
saw
about the
something
current
from
page I'm working on. It's like you're just dumping more things onto me.
We gotta hire you some art assistants or something, people to take care of the minutia, like the
should.
thumbnails. Who knows?
I will make
We
you
need to
dinner
outsource
after
that.
this.
Yeah.
I cook for everybody.
Yeah, Frequency Girl manages all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So I guess that's great. We're really glad to have you come on, James Dean James. I keep doing it. I see his name and my brain just wants to call him James Dean.
So thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for coming, filling in. Anything else? Anything you want to plug? And where people can find you?
One last quick question before we get in that. What's your advice to first-time creators trying to make it? I always ask this of people that we have on the show because it's valuable. What would you suggest if there's any words of advice?
Just do it.
Just do it.
I spent more time because you spend so much time looking at your absolute favorite artists, and you're not that good yet, does not mean that you're not good enough. Because I spent way too long doubting myself to the point where it got to the point now where I look at my own stuff and, like a little bit up myself, but it's like I'm better than some of the other artists I've seen out there already selling things. And it's like, well, why wasn't I selling things 10 years ago? And so the biggest thing stopping you is you.
That's true. I mean, you're the second person to say that, and that's, it's the truth.
And every time,
how is he so wise at 30?
It's just Australian, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
They make
Because I have my own show.
It's the Vegemite.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When is your show on? Let our audience know. When can they watch?
Depending on where you are in the world, it's on at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., or 1 p.m. every weekday.
So good morning, good noon, good night.
Yeah.
And all of your links are already in the description.
Yeah, Frequency Girl already added all of your social media.
Thank you very
stuff.
much.
You're very welcome. We're very glad to have you. So anything else? That's it. All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications.
And tune into the frequency.
We'll see you next time.